So let us discuss in detail about the functional group aldehydes and ketones. So that is the compounds containing the carbonyl group. And today we are discussing the preparation of aldehydes and ketones. There are different methods for the preparation of aldehydes and ketones, but in your syllabus only two methods is given. That is preparation of aldehydes and ketone from from alcohols by the oxidation of primary alcohols or by dehydrogenation of the primary alcohols. So let us see how the aldehydes and ketone is prepared. First method is from alcohols. There are different types of alcohols, that is not different types, that means there are primary, secondary and tertiary alcohols. The first we are taking oxidation of alcohol. By the oxidation of alcohols we can produce the aldehydes and ketones. But the main point is that the aldehydes are prepared by the oxidation of primary alcohols and the ketones are produced by the oxidation of secondary alcohol. Then you can see how it is, how the product is get through a proper example. First I am discussing how aldehydes are prepared. Primary alcohols give aldehydes which may further oxidize to carboxylic acid. That means if I am taking a primary alcohol and undergoing oxidation, and soon it converted into an aldehyde. If it is further oxidized, then that aldehyde will changes into a carboxylic acid. That is given here as a general formula. This is a primary alcohol that I am taken, RCH2OH, and undergoing oxidation definitely you will get an aldehyde, that means RCHO. And if it is undergoing oxidation further, then what will be the product? The product will be a carboxylic acid. So there are different reagents can be used in order for the oxidation of the primary alcohol. So again I am given an equation, that means using a strong oxidizing agent. If the oxidizing agent is very strong, then soon the primary alcohol is converted into a carboxylic acid, and in between them there is an aldehyde is produced. The oxidation is possible with the help of common oxidizing agents that means the common oxidizing agents basically used are the KMnO4, then K2Cr2O7 and CrO3. So some example is given here, that in CH3, CH2, CH2OH, you should understand that this is a primary alcohol, and in the presence of potassium dichromate and sulfuric acid you are getting an aldehyde. This is meth, eth, propan, bute. It is a butanaldehyde. Then next one more example is given. That means ethanol is converted into acetaldehyde by the removal of a water. Here also the oxidation is taking place in the presence of K2Cr2O7. It can also happen in the presence of sodium dichromate, that means Na2Cr2O7, in the presence of sulfuric acid. And how the water is eliminating, you can see here. Then this is CH3, CH2OH, and this two hydrogen and oxygen is leaving, and after that this group, OH group, is converting into C double bond, means a carbonyl group. Okay, so the alcohol is converting into carbonyl group. More than that, the aldehydes and ketone can also be prepared by possible oxidation of the primary and secondary alcohol by using an agent such as PCC. It is a very important reagent, that means pyridinium chlorochromate, and also other reagent which is very important reagent that is used in the chemistry, that is organic chemistry, that is the Collins reagent, also called the chromium trioxide pyridine complex. But it is not given in your syllabus anyway, you just go through that just because it is very important as in the case of an organic chemistry. And the other one is it is oxidized in the presence of catalyst, that is copper at 573 Kelvin. Anyway, we can see what is a PCC, pyridinium chlorochromate. It is a mixture of pyridine along with the CrO3 and HCl in dichloromethane leads to the formation of pyridine chlorochromate or PCC. That here it is given how that products are formed, or how the PCC is formed, and its molecular formula is given as C5H5NH plus CrO3 Cl minus. Using PCC oxidizing agent, you can convert that primary alcohol into aldehyde. Either it is given in the arrow as PCC in the presence of CH2Cl2, or you can write the molecular formula. But in the normal case, you can only the PCC, that short form is only given. Anyway, you can write this example as the RCH2OH, this primary alcohol changing into aldehyde in the presence of PCC. And the other example which is not given here in syllabus, you just go through what it is given here, that is a Collins reagent which also converted the alcohol into aldehyde. So let us, you just go through what is given here. Anyway, I will show an example. This is a structure of PCC, that means a dipyridine chromium 6 oxide, and the Collins reagent can be shown in many ways. That means either it can shown like its molecular formula here or its structure here. Anyway, this is a primary alcohol is converting into aldehyde, or it can be shown as the CrO3 in the presence of pyridine. This is shown here in the arrow just because the Collins reagent is produced in the presence of pyridine and CrO3. Okay, that is why it is given here. Anyway, the primary alcohol is changes into aldehyde, or it can shown as, this is the general method to show the Collins reagent. Either you can write the Collins reagent in above the arrow, or you can show as the primary alcohol is changing into a carbonyl group in the presence of a pyridine and CrO3 and CH2Cl3. So using these reactants, the Collins reagent is produced. Anyway, the primary alcohol is oxidized to form the aldehydes. So that is the main problem. Then how we can produce the ketones? Ketones can produce from the secondary alcohol. Only the secondary alcohol will gives you the ketones. So this is a secondary alcohol, and using any oxidizing agent, that means any proper oxidizing agent, soon the secondary alcohol converted into ketones. And mainly the oxidizing agents that is used for the conversion of the secondary alcohol into ketones are sodium dichromate in the presence of sulfuric acid, then H2CrO4 or CrO3 in the presence of an acid medium, or KMnO4 or OH minus in the presence of an acid medium, or NaClO or ACOH. Basically, the first four is given as common examples. That is, the secondary alcohol is converted into ketone. Here it is given. The general reaction is given here, so that you can include, or you can draw whatever the example is. The RCHOH dash. This is a secondary alcohol. OH is attached to the secondary group, so this is a secondary alcohol. In the presence of H2CrO4, it is soon converted into a ketone. It is oxidized either in the presence of CrO3 or Na2Cr2O7 or K2Cr2O7 or PCC. Here it is also given K2Cr2O7 or PCC, or you can write or in the presence of Collins reagent. Anyway, one example is given here. The isopropyl alcohol, which is a secondary alcohol, is converted into acetone, that is a ketone, in the presence of K2Cr2O7. That is CH3, which is converted into CH3, CO and CH3. And at the other example given here, that means the reagent is changed here. That is, it is happening in the presence of PCC and CH2Cl2. CH3 thrice C, C6H5OH, C6H4OH. For tertiary butyl cyclohexanol, it is converted into for tertiary butyl cyclohexanol. The product is a 90%. Or once again, I am shown here the secondary alcohol is converted into ketone in the presence of the Collins reagent. Okay, and the next method, so that is all about the oxidation of the primary alcohol and the secondary alcohol. The oxidation of primary alcohol will soon converted into aldehyde, and the oxidation of the secondary alcohol soon converted into a ketone. And the next method is the dehydrogenation of alcohols. Here also the primary and the secondary alcohol may undergoing the dehydrogenation. Mainly here the dehydrogenation of alcohol takes place in the presence of catalyst. So that dehydrogenation is otherwise called the catalytic hydrogenation. That means catalytic dehydrogenation. Okay, the aldehydes. First of all, how the aldehyde is prepared. The primary alcohol, this alcohol is a primary alcohol, and primary alcohol in the presence of Cu at copper at 573 Kelvin, it has changes into an aldehyde. There may question arise that how the alcohol is passed. That means when the vapors of the primary alcohol are passed or it is passed through a heated copper, or silver can also be used at 573 Kelvin, and dehydrogenation of the alcohol will take place and it yield to the corresponding aldehyde. That means what the reactant is taken, then the aldehyde will be corresponding to that aldehyde. That means the alcohol is taken. What is the alcohol taken? The corresponding aldehyde will produced by passing the copper. Okay, copper, we were using the copper as catalyst, and you can see one example. You can go through an example here. This is an ethyl alcohol in the presence of copper at 573 Kelvin. You are getting an aldehyde, that is the ethanol. And the next is how the ketones are produced as a result of the dehydrogenation. Mainly, the point is that ketones cannot be prepared by the primary alcohol. Basically, the ketones are produced by the secondary alcohol. That means dehydrogenation of the secondary alcohol will give you the ketone. So here this is a secondary alcohol. A general reaction is given that in RCHOH R- in the presence of Cu at 573 Kelvin, and you are getting a ketone at RCO R-. And one example is also given here. By using this general formula, you can write one or three examples. One example is only given here. That means it is isopropyl alcohol. It is the simplest secondary alcohol, and you are getting from the simplest secondary alcohol, you will get as a simplest ketone, that is the acetone. So isopropyl alcohol means CH3CH or it's CH3 in the presence of Cu at 573 Kelvin. You are getting an acetone, which is a ketone, that is CH3CO CH3. But there's one more point is that what happens if the tertiary alcohol is undergoing a catalytic dehydrogenation, or what happens if the tertiary alcohol is treated with a catalyst such as Cu or silver at 573 Kelvin. Mainly, the tertiary alcohols converted into an alkene. It do not give the production of, it do not produce a aldehydes or ketones. So tertiary alcohols do not give the product, do not forms aldehydes or ketones. Next part of this section is that what all are the chemical properties of aldehydes and ketones. First of all, you should understand that aldehydes and ketone is a very important functional group that in the chemistry. So there are different types, different chemical properties for the aldehydes and ketones, and it is a wide area. I think it is already discussed, or it is a small area as discussed in your plus 2 levels. Anyway, in your syllabus, that means in the complementary syllabus, only 2 or 3 properties are given here. Therefore, I am explaining only 2 of them, only concentrating to the syllabus. So, chemical properties, there are different types of chemical properties, and first type of chemical property is a nucleophilic addition reaction that takes place in the carbonyl carbon. So, in the section nucleophilic addition reaction, the nucleophilic addition reaction may take place in the presence of water, in the presence of HCl, in the presence of a sodium bisulfates, or adding alcohol. The adding alcohol is a very important reaction. Why? Just because it leads to the formation of 2 compounds, that is the hemiacetals and acetals, and other is the Grignard reagent. But in your syllabus, only 2 of them is explained here. That means only 2 of them is needed to explain. That is what happens, the nucleophilic addition reaction of HCl or in the addition of sodium bisulfate. So I am only concentrating to that. But you don't get misunderstand that it's only the 2 chemical properties that is important for the aldehydes and ketones. Instead, there are different types of chemical properties are also there. Before entering into the nucleophilic addition reactions, let me say you how the carbonyl compounds undergo the nucleophilic addition reaction. Basically, we know that the carbon and oxygen is relatively different. That means the carbon and oxygen have difference in their electronegativity. Because of this difference in the electronegativity, from this, the oxygen is having the higher electronegativity than the carbon. Therefore, there is a possibility to move the electrons towards the oxygen. Just because of that, the oxygen is having a partial negative charge and the carbon is acquiring a partial positive charge. You can see like this. Just because of this difference in the electronegativity, the bond will move. That means the electrons will shift towards the oxygen. You can show as an arrow here. Therefore, the oxygen is getting a negative charge and the carbon is getting a positive charge. That is, the carbon is lacking of electrons. That means a carbonyl carbon. This carbon can be called as the carbonyl carbon, having a partial positive charge, and therefore it behaves as an electrophile. That means it is therefore, if the carbonyl carbon is an electrophile, then what will happen? There is a possibility to attract the nucleophile towards this electrophile. That means the carbon, the positive charged carbon or the electrophile will attract the nucleophile towards the carbon. It shows that there is a possibility for the nucleophilic addition reaction at this carbonyl carbon. So that nucleophilic reaction, as we are discussing, What happens if the nucleophile Cn minus comes towards the carbonyl carbon, or what happens if the sodium bisulfate is added towards the carbonyl carbon. So let me explain you, or let me go through the points. The partial negative charge on the oxygen atom can be stabilized by the introduction of an acidic group, or the proton donated by the acid bonds with the carbonyl oxygen atom and neutralizes the negative charge. Anyway, if you are comparing, I am only giving a small comparison here. What happens if we compare the nucleophilic addition reaction towards nucleophilic addition reaction abilities of the aldehydes and ketones? If I am comparing that, which carbonyl group, which carbonyl compound or aldehydes and ketone having greater attract towards the nucleophilic addition reaction? If I am comparing aldehydes and ketones, the main point is that we want to consider the carbocations that is formed though also. In the case of a ketones, the ketones are producing a secondary carbocations, but in the case of an aldehydes, the aldehydes are producing a primary carbocations. We already know that the stability of carbocation is in a way that tertiary greater than secondary greater than the primary. It shows that the primary carbocations will undergo the nucleophilic addition reaction faster than the secondary. Therefore, the aldehydes are producing the primary carbocation. Therefore, the aldehydes will be more reactive towards the nucleophilic addition reaction. So, I will explain once again. If you are considering the relative reaction towards the aldehydes and ketones towards the nucleophilic addition reaction, if you are considering both of them, the aldehydes will react forcefully towards the nucleophile than the ketones. Why? Just because the aldehydes are producing the secondary the aldehydes are producing the primary carbocation, which is a lesser stability than the ketones, which forms the secondary carbocation. Okay. Next, just I shows how the nucleophilic addition reaction is shown here. You just go through it for your kind of information. I am giving this, how the nucleophilic addition taking place here. It may takes place through 3 steps, and how it is taking place. This is a carbonyl group RCOR. What happens if a nucleophile has come towards the carbonyl group? What happens? Just because of the presence of the difference in the electronegativity, the bond will shift towards the oxygen. Therefore, the carbon will existed as a positive charge. This because of that the nucleophile will attracted towards the carbon, electrophilic carbon. So this is a nucleophilic addition. Then this is an intermediate formed here, the nucleophile and negative charges. This is an alkoxide. This compound is called an alkoxide, and this alkoxide is protonated to form the stable alcohol. So this is protonated. Therefore, we can see the product as carbonyl bonds attached to the nucleophile and other attachment towards the alcohol group. You should be thorough that the carbon is attached to the nucleophile and other is attached to the other end is attached to an alcoholic group. Okay. The carbon oxygen double bond is directly attacked by the strong nucleophile to give rise to an alkoxide. This is alkoxide. However, when weak nucleophiles are used, the carbonyl group must be activated with the help of an acid catalyst for the nucleophilic addition reaction to proceed. If the strong nucleophile is used, then there is no need for any acid catalyzed condition is not needed. But if we are using a weak nucleophiles, then the carbonyl group want to activate it. So that activation will only, or the nucleophilic addition will take place only in the presence of an acid. That means acid catalyzed is used for that such conditions. And the first is the addition of HCN. This is not second. This is the first one. Addition of HCN, hydrogen cyanide. What happens if an aldehydes and ketones when reacted with an HCN? Soon it converted into a product. That product is called an cyanohydrates. I already told you that the carbon will attach to a nucleophile and the carbonyl attached to another side as the alcoholic group, OH group. Here, this is a carbonyl group RCOH in the presence of an HCN. The CN minus is nucleophile and it is attached to the carbon. That means electrophilic carbon. So one end it is a nucleophile, that means CN minus, and the other end it is an OH. It takes place in the presence of base catalyzed. Base catalyzed, the HCN is changing into CN minus and H plus. Here the CN minus is reacted with that alkoxide. The intermediate formed here, that means alkoxide, and it is protonated and it is converted into a primary alcohol. That means not the primary alcohol, it converted into an alcohol. Anyway, it is converting into an alcohol. RCCN H plus CN minus. Some of the examples given here. Anyway, what is the product formed? It is a cyanohydrines. Okay, it is called If it is aldehyde, it is called aldehyde cyanohydrine. If it is ketone, it is called the ketone cyanohydrine. Some examples given here. RC, this is a general reaction that is shown here. This is an aldehyde. CH3CHO, this is a means acetaldehyde plus HCN. It is changes into an acetaldehyde cyanohydrine. SCH means cyanohydrine. The carbon is attached to the OH group and the carbon is attached to the CN minus or CN, a nucleophilic. This is the aromatic aldehyde. C6H5CHO, this is a benzaldehyde. In the presence of an HCN, the carbon is attached to the CN and it is also attached to the OH. It is the benzaldehyde cyanohydrine. Anyway, one thing you can see common here, OH. Only the nucleophile is changing. Okay, a nucleophile is not changing here. If CN is used, the CN is there itself. If this is a ketone, it is also forming an acetone cyanohydrine. Anyway, there are cyanohydrines are different uses. It can be used for the preparation of this cyanohydrin is basically used for the preparation of the lactic acid or alpha hydroxy acid by undergoing the proper hydrolysis, or this cyanohydrins can also be used for the preparation of alpha hydroxy amine. Next is that is second one, that is the addition of sodium bisulfate. In this addition and this nucleophilic addition, the nucleophile HSO3 minus, definitely the NaHSO3 splitted as Na plus and HSO3 minus, and in this a bisulfate addition product is formed. Here the carbonyl carbon, it is attached as C is attached to the O minus and Na plus and SO3H, and here it is changes into after the proton transfer, the main product is given as, or we will get the main product as C attached to OH and SO3 Na. Okay. This is how the proton transfer is taking place, and a reaction is not needed for you. Therefore, I am only just skipping that. You just go through it, or you just understand how the transfer is taking place through a proper arrows, and I shown here. So this hydrogen is this is a proton transfer that is taking place, and how the O minus is changes into alkoxide is changes into N, or this O minus is changes into an OH group. Anyway, simply you can write it as, in the presence of a sodium bisulfate, a bisulfate addition product is formed. This is a gentle reaction, and the example is given here. Writing the example is very simple. Why? Just because we know that the carbon is attached to the OH group, and other side the carbon is attached to the nucleophile. Here it is CH3CHO, and in the presence of NaHSO3, the C is attached to the OH, and on the other side it is attached to the SO3 minus Na plus. This is the aldehyde bisulfide compound. And the ketone is given. One example is aldehyde and other example is ketone anyway, or whatever it is. The product will be a simple product. I mean CH3COCH3 plus NaHSO3. You are getting the product as CH3CH OH CH3SO3 minus Na plus. It is a ketone bisulfate compound. Next is reaction with ammonia. This is another type of reaction that is taking place for the aldehydes and ketones, but in your syllabus it is shown here. Or it is given as how the urotropin is formed. Then how the urotropin is formed means it is a part of the reaction that is taking place to ammonia. That means not in ammonia, that means taking place in the presence of ammonia to the aldehydes and ketones. So I think it's better you to tell how the reaction is taking place to the aldehydes and ketones. The reaction with reaction with ammonia. Aldehydes and ketones, when reacted with an ammonia, it forms a product, that means the aldimines. And the product is given here, that means RC double bond OR in the presence of ammonia. An addition is taking place, and after that It is converting C double bond O is converted into C double bond NH. Okay. Here this is convert or dehydration is taking place here just because this is a very unstable compound. So in order to making a stable compound or stable aldehyde, the dehydration is taking place. One example is given here, acetaldehyde in the presence of ammonia. It is forming an aldehyde ammonia, which is a very unstable compound, and by the dehydration it is changing into aldehyde, which is a very reactive compound. Then next, if any other aldehyde or if we are taking a formaldehyde, especially I am taking a formaldehyde or reacting the formaldehyde with an ammonia, it forms a special product, that is the hexamethylene tetramine. This is hexamethylene 6CH2 4N. This is hexamethylene. Tetra means what? Means 4. Tetra means 4. Hexa 6 methylene group and 4 means a 4 N group. Formaldehyde react with ammonia to form hexamethylene tetramine, which is used as an urinary antiseptic under the name urotropine. It is a drug used for urinary infection. It is a very important drug which is used for the urinary infection, or it is a drug used in the medicinal chemistry. How it is formed? It is formed by the addition of ammonia to the formaldehyde. If any other aldehyde is taken, you will not get the product as the this urotropine. So it is formed only by the adding a proper formaldehyde with the proper ratio of ammonia. That means 6 HCHO plus 4 NH3 are getting the CH3 6 times N4 plus 6 H2O. Urotropine have a particular structural formula that is shown here. This is a particular structural formula. Hexamethylene tetramine, 4 nitrogen is shown here, and try to study how to draw the urotropine, and it is eliminated with the elimination of water. So this is all about this functional group aldehydes and ketones. Then next we are discussing what is a carboxylic acid. The carboxylic acid is the second functional group that is discussed in your chapter. Anyway, I think it's better to discuss this carboxylic acid in the next video.